All right, people. So I want to talk about WWE's new group here called Retribution. I saw they just debuted a couple of weeks ago. The first impression I got from them is they are dorks. I mean, you look at this group of people, they all look like they're about 5'9", a buck 60. I mean, they look like fucking sticks. They look like they came from the cruiserweight division. They don't look like tough guys. They don't look intimidating. They don't give off that vibe of being intimidating. And the fact that they're all dressed in black, none of their bodies are showing, it doesn't make them look tough. It doesn't make them like you can't see their physique, you can't see their faces. It makes them. It just adds to that not tough vibe that they give off. And I saw them debut, and it was very akin to the Nexus. And some people might say, well, they're just copying the whole Nexus storyline. They're just and if they do something similar to Nexus, like if WWE does something similar to Nexus right now, I wouldn't mind. I don't mind WWE recycling past ideas and putting a new spin on it. Like pretty much everything in WWE is like that, right? I mean, most gimmicks, most storylines have been done in the past in some similar fashion, but WWE just puts a new spin on it. So I don't mind that it's similar to Nexus. Nexus happened like 10 years ago, so I don't have a problem with that. I guess the difference between Nexus was, well, Nexus got buried, unfortunately, by Super Cena. So, that was back when Cena was burying everybody. Good thing that doesn't happen anymore. Now we got Roman Reigns to do that for us. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's an interesting idea. This Retribution storyline, but it's just these people seem like dorks. Like they really do. I mean, they'll beat up people, but they also just. It seems like their main mission is to like throw shit around and fuck up rooms and mess with the electrical and sound systems of WWE. Um, and then I was watching SmackDown yesterday. Not the whole. Don't worry, people. You don't have to worry about me. I wasn't watching the whole 2 hours because I don't know if I would survive through that torture. I only watched the highlights on YouTube. Thank God. And I saw that they got their asses kicked yesterday. Now, this group just debuted a couple weeks ago. So why are they already getting their asses kicked? If you're going to put a big emphasis on this group, you don't want to make them look weak within 2 weeks of their debut. I mean, how retarded is that? How stupid is that? So again, that furthermore adds to this notion of them not being tough. Like when the Shield debuted, they didn't get their ass kicked for months, if I remember correctly. They looked pretty strong for months and months and months. And they looked tough, right? I mean, they were dressed in like black, but their arms were showing, their faces were showing. It's like, and this group reminds me of obviously Nexus, but it also reminds me of Antifa. This is like WWE's version of Antifa, I guess. Just going around fucking shit up. They're dressed in black. They're very small. They look dorky. They're spray painting their logo just like Antifa does. So this reminds me very much of Antifa, right? So I don't know if Vince McMahon got the idea from watching all the riots happening over the last few months, but you never know where this guy or his cronies in his creative team get their ideas from. But that it reminds me very much of Antifa and Nexus. Now they keep adding more people to this group. Like I think when they debuted, it was like 5 or 6 people. Now it's like 10. And the thing is, when you add like 8 people to a group, or like now they have 10 people that in a group, like I'm not a big fan of that. because you can't develop individual characters within that group. Like when you have a group of three, like the New Day or the Shield, or a group like Evolution, you could develop individual characters within that group. But when you have like 8 or 10 guys in a group, it just becomes a big monolith, a monolith of shit for the most part. And and they're all dressed in black, so there's no individuality within that. So it's an interesting idea, I think, but knowing WWE, they're already starting to fuck it up, and I don't think it's going to work out very well for WWE. I think they're already going down the wrong path. They could make a U-turn. They could do something different with them. They're kind of just randomly wandering around, throwing shit and beating people up, and now they got their asses kicked. So, and again, it's just 10 guys. That's all it is. Like, you don't even know their names. You don't know their characters. You don't know their physiques. It's like with the Shield, they had Roman Reigns, which was like the big guy, and they had Seth Rollins. They had Dean. So you knew everybody. You knew their individual characters, and you knew their faces. You knew what they looked like. You knew how to tell one from the other when they were wrestling because their faces weren't covered. They all weren't dressed in black. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of things wrong with this gimmick, but I still think it could work because it is a interesting idea. It's something new, but we'll see where they go with it. I will keep watching, not the full shows. I will not subject myself to the torture of 2 and 3 and 4 hour WWE shows, but I will continue to monitor this on the lovely YouTube. So there you go, people.